Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about Intellia biggest press release that just happened this morning about nex-z, which used to be their leading program actually, called Intellia 2001. But this program released data for a 24 months follow-up. That's 2 years of data follow-up from all the patients that they've had since then in that program, which of course is 36 patient size. So that's the sample size, which is significant. And they were able to release some data on it. And I want to talk about it all here in this video, how amazing that data is, how great that data is, and why CRISPR has a bright future. And let's take a look at it. So couple of things here. First of all, guys, what is nex-z, that program tackling? Well, it's basically doing some work in vivo technology, doing some work in the liver with regards to TTR, right? TTR gene. And what that is basically is there's basically an hereditary ATTR disease there, ATTR-PN, okay, which basically gives you a lot of progressive disability, death potential. In fact, the average survival rate from disease onset varies from 6 to 12 years, and cardiac involvement is often the cause of death. And right now there's unavailable treatments, including TTR stabilizers and TTR gene silencers. However, quality life and functional capacity continue to decline, and patients require lifelong treatment. So let's just say whatever Intellia is trying to do right now, there's nobody in the market that can do it. Okay, this is specifically stated in this single slide. It's said many times in the past. We've covered it in this channel, and folks on X.com have tried to debunk this myth that Intellia is doing something that other companies have been doing for years. It's not true. Okay. Now, speaking of doing something that's never been done before, I want to go in the press release because honestly, like, simple words sometimes are the best thing to show as opposed to pretty charts and data flows, although the latter are important. But I would say simple English words gets the job done, and that's what I want to do in this video anyways. So again, 24 months follow-up, okay? So obviously they're going to keep the follow-up with their phase 1 cohort, 36 patients. They're going to keep that. Obviously, they have to go well beyond 24 months here, but 24 months is no joke, okay? That's a significant number. Wait until you hear the actual data, right? So the data here was, and wait for it, 90% was what the day 28 was. Okay, so you go to the liver body, day 1, injected, and day 1 starts. Okay, you're trying to reduce TTR, okay, and what happens after 28 days? 90% reduction. That was released a couple of years ago, back in June 2021. Everybody was ecstatic about it. I remember the stock went up 50%. And levels remain, and I'm quoting here, levels remain virtually unchanged for at least 24 months. At least 24 months. Not 24 months, at least 24 months for all of those folks who got 90%. So that means after 2+ years, you're still getting 90+ reduction. And I should remind people, that's a one-time functional potential cure. That's not something they're doing every month, every 6 months, every year. This is a one-time functional cure potential. And I'm saying potential because you can't really say cure until it's approved by the FDA and other regulatory bodies, right? So that's pretty big, okay? Now, obviously, they post a bunch of data here and in the charts here. Let's go back now to the charts. There in some of these slides here, they go really in details, okay? They divide the participants, the end sample size, and I actually covered this in this channel, how important it is to get a sample size that represents diseases, right? It's not true that you can just pick a randomized folks, okay? It doesn't work like that. You need to pick a spectrum of how bad the disease is, because that's how you kind of go to the FDA, for example, and say, hey, we took one of the worst patients out there that has this disease, this rare disease, rare mutation, and look what we've been able to do, even with the worst patients. Now imagine what we can do with maybe mid-level patients or even lighter, mild patients, if I may say, if there's anything on that type of description, as we may say clinically. So obviously here, a massive improvement of what we've seen here. I think a lot of criticism was put last November about Intellia, about whether or not they would be able to pull it off. I actually remember last year people thinking Intellia would go bankrupt. Crazily enough, people were actually calling it for it, even though they had so much cash in the balance sheet. And I think this puts everything to bed. I think this puts the naysayers to shame, right? I think Intellia is doing something that's noble. They're doing something that's never been done before, a one-time functional cure, potentially, for a disease that's never had a treatment, a one-time treatment anyways. They're doing it in a safe profile. They're doing it in a durable way, 2+ years of follow-up, and you're getting the same data. I would argue it's actually better, right? Just let that sink in, right? If you're getting 90% reduction after 28 days, but you're also getting it after 2 years, that's better data, okay? And it's just amazing what this company has been able to do. Right? I've always said many years ago, I still remember, I used to say how Intellia was doing something that's nobody is doing out there. They're kind of tackling a space that a lot of people are looking forward for. In vivo is a big technology, okay? Even Beam Therapeutics' leading program is not in vivo, okay? Now, obviously, there are other companies that ventured into it since then, including Beam, including CRISPR Therapeutics, but they're the leaders in the in vivo space, okay? Ex vivo versus in vivo, there's a time and place for both the technologies, both mechanisms, but in vivo unlocks so many opportunities, including this particular disease, by reducing TTR gene through injection through the liver. But there are other things too, okay? There are other things too, like HAE, okay, which is another program they're working on until 2002. There are other diseases there that you can tackle with in vivo. And again, you could probably do it with ex vivo, but then it becomes expensive. It doesn't really scale well. And then how do you tackle the safety profile, right? And I think in vivo here is able to do that in certain, again, time and place for different technology based on the disease. So I'm really excited, guys. This is really big. I didn't want to cover too much here. And look, I'm having this McDonald's coffee here. Let me take a sip. And just a quick note on that. First of all, before anybody judges me, I do buy Starbucks here and there. Decaf Starbucks, actually. But actually, the second straight time now, every time I drink this extra large coffee, as you can probably tell by the size, which again, for Americans, this probably would be a large size, not the extra large, but for Canadians, it is extra large. The coffee drips from the side. I don't understand why. I mean, it's the second time it's doing it from this. Let me show it to you guys. Can you guys see it? It's somewhere here, right? Drips. And second time, I think it's maybe the way I'm drinking it or something. But second straight day it's doing it. Maybe I just got unlucky. Can't do it on third day because tomorrow I'll be in Montreal. In fact, tonight I'll be in Montreal. That's why I'm making this video early on here. So got a little bit of travels here last week at Orlando in a beautiful, gorgeous Four Seasons resort. Obviously for work, wouldn't be able to afford that personally. But I'm going to Montreal here to see family and do a couple of business meetings as well. So excited to go back to Montreal. I haven't been to Montreal in about 6 months, actually, officially. So that's going to be a long time I haven't been there. It's the first time I haven't been back in that long in the last 4 years since I moved to Toronto. So got little travels here and there. I'm hoping to make a couple of videos throughout the week. So much action in the CRISPR landscape. I was talking about some of the folks yesterday on X, and there's just so much action happening, right? From Prime Medicine with Prime editors to this news, obviously, that just dropped this morning, to the CRISPR gene-edited baby, which, again, we made a video yesterday on a couple of those things. But lots of things happening. I'm really getting excited here, guys. Hopefully we enter this bull market. I think we're well overdue. A lot of people are looking forward for it. I've been receiving YouTube comments about it. And speaking of YouTube comments, guys, please do subscribe like this video and do comment below, guys. It helps with engagement, puts our videos on people's homepage. That's how we get the word out there. Again, the mission of this channel, free education for all on YouTube, no strings attached. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful Sunday. Thank you.